How is it going, guys, and welcome to the channel. Now today I'm going to be discussing 5 things that the Astra VXR does better than the Corsa VXR. Now, but before you all start hating me and smashing me in the comments, you know, don't get triggered on it. I had my Corsa for a long time and I loved every minute with it. I'm not slating the Corsa VXR or anything like that. I love my Corsa, but I just feel like these are 5 things that I think the Astra is better at these certain things compared to the Corsa. And I've obviously already done one with the 5 things I don't like about the car, so I thought I would do one I do like about it. I think it's better than the Corsa. So let's roll the intro and let's start. Then the first thing is going to be the most obvious. It's the engine. Now with the Corsa VXR, you guys, if you've got a Corsa VXR, obviously, or if you've known about them, you know you're always worried about the engine. Obviously you hear about piston fall and stuff like that. Obviously it doesn't happen that often if you look after the Corsa. I'm not saying that all Corsa VXRs close piston fall. They don't. I know for a fact they don't, but it is quite a common thing for the engine on the Corsa VXR to fail. Now with the Astra VXR, we're having forged pistons from factory. Obviously it's a lot more reliable. Yes, you get valve stem seals issues, but that's sort of like minimal compared to obviously an engine rebuild on a Corsa VXR. So I just find that the engine is one of the things that I think that the Astra does a lot better than the Corsa. It's just a more reliable engine. It's obviously been about for quite a while now. Just it's sort of small changes obviously from the Astra GSI, and then it obviously came to the Astra VXR. But yeah, I do feel that the engine is one of the top things for me. Is better than the Corsa, 100% or 100%. Obviously everyone has different opinions, but that's just my opinion. Right then, the second thing, okay, so sort of leading on from the first one, is obviously tuning the car. Now you guys all know how much money I spent getting my Corsa VXR to over 300 brake. If you haven't seen that video, go and watch it. It cost me a lot. I did like a price breakdown of stuff, and it cost me a hell of a lot of money and a lot of time just to get to the Corsa to 300 brake. But now with the Astra, they seem to get there with minimal effort. Obviously I'm not quite there yet. I made just short of 290, but obviously I need it with an inlet and valve springs. I will be able to. I can't see why I won't be able to get to 300 brake, especially with the turbo it has. Obviously I've got a brand new core. I just find getting the Astra VXR over 300 is a lot easier and a lot cheaper compared to the Corsa. Getting the Corsa over it costs so much money and there's a lot of stress trying to get you there. Obviously it's worth it in the end, don't get me wrong. I don't regret what I did, but it was just a more expensive journey in comparison to the Astra. I do find that I should be able to get the Astra over 300 without spending, I think it was around just over 6 grand getting the Corsa over there. But yeah, that's my number 2, is obviously just the tunability and how easy it is to get power out. Obviously the rods are the limit with these engines. I know that I'm not stupid, but it's just, you can get to 300 a lot easier and a hell of a lot cheaper. So that's my number 2. Right then, the third thing. Now for me, I have to say is a daily driver. Now don't get me wrong, you can daily drive a Corsa VXR quite easily. However, I do feel the Astras are just a lot easier to daily. It just seems a nicer ride compared to the Corsa, even though I know I was on coilovers and stuff, but even when it had stock suspension on the Corsa, I do find it was a little bit more bumpy, a little bit more crashy. And as nice as the Corsa VXR seats were on long journeys, you had a dead backside by the time you got to your journey. Yes, these seats aren't as nice looking, but they're a hell of a lot comfortable on a long journey, which I found out when I went to go and fetch that anti-roll bar. I found that I wasn't as much, my back didn't hurt as much and my backside didn't hurt as much when I got to the end of the journey, and obviously when I got home as well. Whereas in the Corsa, after a long drive in it, you start doing that a lot and like stretching your back out, and it just, after a bit, it just starts getting a bit uncomfortable. Whereas in the Astra, it's just a nicer place to sit. It's just a nice to drive every day. It's just more dailyable. there's no other way to explain it. If you've ever drove a Corsa VXR, then gone to an Astra, you guys will know exactly what I mean. Driving an Astra VXR every day compared to a Corsa, it's just a lot easier. That's just my opinion. You know, everyone has their different opinions. You guys might think, oh no, you're wrong, but that's fair enough. That is fair enough. But that's just my opinion on how the Astra is to daily every single day, which is, I don't have the luxury of having a second car. So my Corsa was my daily, we use it every day. Obviously my Astra is my daily, I use it every day. So that's how I just feel that the Astra is just a nicer car to drive daily. Right then, the fourth thing on the list is the availability of parts. Now, if you guys have got an earlier Corsa, like a Z16 07 to 09 reg, you've probably found certain parts are quite difficult to get. Sort of like in the second-hand market, whereas in the Astra, they're everywhere. Parts are everywhere. So obviously the Astra VXR didn't really change much, like mechanical parts and suspension stuff, they sort of stayed the same through the range. Whereas in the Corsa, it all changed, isn't it? Like, you know, you got the Z16, the A16, the B16. So it's more in the second-hand car market now, like in parts, it's more like you see more the A16, the B16, whereas in the Zs, there's not like, for example, a D-Cat or a second-hand D-Cat or a second-hand sports cat or whatever. I tend to find that they don't pop up as much in comparison to the Astra bits, or like comparison to, like, to the later Corsa stuff. So I do find the availability of parts, stuff for these performance parts come up all the time. Whereas in the Corsa, they popped up now and then, don't get me wrong, but it's very, they didn't come up. Like, what I found, like, since having an Astra and obviously being on the groups and that, there seem to be more parts available that pop up more often in comparison to the Corsa, which, you know, it was a bit of an eye-opener for me. And lots of bits that are cheap and not expensive, whereas certain Corsa bits they seem to fetch a premium, whereas with the Astra they don't seem to fetch that much because there's obviously so many about there. But yeah, for me that's got to be my number 4. I think just the availability of parts, they're everywhere. It's sort of, you can mix and match stuff. Certain bits off the GSI fits the VXR. Obviously I know it's a different platform and certain things won't fit, but there are certain parts that will. But that for me is one of the things for me. Fifth and final one for me is the value. The Astra VXR seems to hold value a little bit better, not massively, but compared to the Corsa VXR, I do feel the Astra seems to hold more money. Which you guys might think different, but I feel the Astra definitely seems to hold the value a little bit better. Not that it makes it, you know, you don't buy a car and modify it and go and sell it onto a profit, because that's never going to happen no matter what car you buy. Unless you've got an old RS Turbo you've had for years or something like that. But I do feel it just seemed like, well, when it comes to selling my Corsa, because it done 140k, well, the car had, the engine hadn't, the clutch hadn't, the suspension hadn't, the wheels hadn't, the brakes hadn't. Literally, I'd refreshed the whole car, as you guys know, but no one wants to pay it. They say it done the mileage. Nobody wanted to pay what I was asking, which wasn't very much. But with the Astra, even the higher mileage ones seem to hold their value a little bit better. Not massively, like I said. They do hold it slightly better than the Corsa. They seem to be more expensive to buy a half-decent one, a half-decent Astra VXR compared to buying a half-decent Corsa VXR, if you catch my drift. But yeah, that's sort of the fifth and final one for me, guys. So as always, thanks for watching. Sorry it's a silly little talky one again. I'm hoping the car's going in for some paint next week, so I'm not too sure, maybe I'll be uploading next week, but we'll see what I can get done on the car before obviously uploading it or whatever, or getting the paint actually done. But we'll see. But as always, guys, thanks for watching. I appreciate every single one of you. Make sure you smash that like button, and it really helps me out. Drop a comment if I got anything wrong or there's something you disagreed with what was said, and I'll always reply to all my comments. As you guys know, a lot of you are quite regular commenters, and I always try and reply to everybody. But as always, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.